So I wanted to review how to do a combo box. Typically, if you're not in a subform, when you drag the combo box, it should invoke a wizard. But in the case of a subform, when you're already in a subform like we developed, if you click on the combo box, it doesn't go to a combo box. So that means you have to manually set this up. And we went over that in class, but it would be easier to just do the wizard. So a quick trick to do that is to take your subform, click on the outer edge of it, and right click, and then open the subform in a new window. So now we're looking at the card 3 subform from that main form in its own window, and the wizard should work. So one thing I want to point out is if you look at your ribbon bar, you want your wizard controls to have this square box around it. So that means it's using wizard. So it was selected, but it wasn't working because the subform was embedded. So now we have a new window for the subform, and it should work automatically now. We're just going to recreate that species one. So here, again, we want to grab from a code table in this case, and we're going to go down and we're going to grab the species code, and then we're going to pick the code number, which is that, and then we'll just pick our own, like we have a field code, and we're going to add, oh, I added all of them, and we don't want all that, so that was a mistake. So we're going to add that, and then I'm just going to do the field code and hit next. And again, it's hiding the column key. That's the code we want it to put into the right field, but we want to see this as displayed, this the actual character code in the drop list. So then in this case, we're not going to remember the value like we did with a combo box that's in the form header. We're actually in the subform. So we're in the same areas where the species field is. So we're going to actually, when we make a selection, we're going to store it in that field. So your list should show that field right there. So we want to store it in species, hit next, and it's just called combo 32. You can rename it later. So we have basically two of the same things. So now if you see we're still in that subform window, it's going to look like it's in this tabular form. And what we want to do is go back to the main form and then look at it. And then the card 3, again, is going to illustrate. So now we created a second. So this 32 is the one we just created. So it's the same exact thing. And again, that's how we do it. So that's the wizard. If we were to do it manually, it's a little more challenging because in this case, if you look at the property sheet, you have to basically go and manually select this and this here. These are the two fields we selected. And then we also have to format how that looks. So the bound column is one. That means the first column, which is the species code number when we select it, is the column that has the code. So that's why it's called a bound column. And that binds it to that species cell here because we want the code number to go there. And then again, there's more formatting. So there's two column counts. There's the species code that is hidden, and that's hidden because the column width is set to 0 in the display. And then the second column is the bound column, is the one that has the character code. So it's kind of complicated. And again, I said everything's explicit here. So again, there's two columns we picked through the wizard. One was the code number, one was the character code. This formats the column width in that combo box so that the first column is 0. So that's why it says it hides the key because we don't care what the code number is. We just want to see the character code.